We are back now. We took a break for Hilchos Chanukah, and we're back to Hilchos Krias Shema. I believe we are holding Simin Samach Beis. Simin Samach Beis. Din Mishlei Diktik B'Kriyas Shema Eloi Hishmiya La'oznei. Said the Alter Rebbe, Afa Pisha Tzarech L'Daktik B'Isi Seha Hara V'Loi Diktik B'Hen Yatza. Even though we're supposed to be medactic in the Kriya of Shema, but if you were not medactic, you're still Yoitzer.
First, you have to learn what's Hebrew, what's Shema. Most people in America, they don't know what Shema is.
You know what it means?
Yeah, I don't know.
So therefore we come to the next halacha, Beis. Yachu v'kreis b'chol lashon. If you don't understand, you could read it in any language. And you're Yoitzer. Shenemar Shema b'chol lashon she'ata shemeya. Any language that you hear. Yizar medivri shibush sheba'isi lashon. V'daktik v'isi yosef k'moi b'lashon ha'kodesh. V'hu shemevin halashon. So, as long as you understand what you're saying, and you should also be careful it should be proper English. Whatever language is translated in, it should be written properly, as a proper translation, and you're Yoitza. You're not Torah. V'hu adin l'tfila, same thing as by davening, and Birchas Hamazon. That you have to understand what you're saying in order to be Yoitza. Aval Kiddush u'Birchas HaMitzvahs v'Halal Yoitza afilu einei meven haloshin. However, the Kiddush, Brachas, and Birchas HaMitzvahs and Halal, you're Yoitza even if you don't understand. But Tefillah and Birchas Hamazon and Krias Shema, you have to understand. Gimel tzarech hashmi la'azim hashemaytzi b'piv. Shenemer Shema hashma la'azlecha v'im lo yishmi la'azim b'yatza. A person, when he says Shema, a lot of times we read it quietly. We are not careful to make sure that we can hear what we are saying. You should be able to hear. If you did not hear, you're taka yoitza. But lachatchila, you have to hear. You're only yoitza if you actually say it with your lips. If you just read it in your heart, la yatza shehirur einoi kedibur. We call makim. Emu ano sheniyachol lahitzi b'svasav. Gain she'ena makim naki. Mean sheniyachol lahitzi b'svasav. Still in all, in a case where someone's at onus, there's a situation where he cannot say Krias Shema. For example, the place where he is not clean. Yesh loy lahader b'af api she'ene yotzei choiva alabamira yesh loy lahader liboy v'Hashem yiru l'bavay. So if you're not allowed to say Krias Shema that spot, you could think Krias Shema even though you're not yotzei unless you say it. Hashem should look to your heart to see that you had no choice. What can you do? He should give you a reward for your machshava. This is what we say in Medrash. Imrei Hashem Azina Hashem. Amar David said, Yibayna Shalaylam. This pasuk is a pasuk in Tehillim. Amar David Yibayna Shem Shashin Yachol Daber Amarai Hizina. Listen to my words when I could speak. So then I'm going to be able to talk with my lips. However, Amarai Azina. The pasuk continues on and says, Bina Hagigi. The Hagigi, that's the Loimer Machshava. Hagigi means Machshava, the thoughts. So when I could do with the heart, with my words, listen to Amarai Azina Hashem, listen to my what I'm saying. When I can't, Bina Hagigi.
What's the difference between
Shim Yiyah Yalotza Loimer Dibur. Afilo Basav Adam in Loimer Bina B'davar Sheshemeya.
What's the difference between here or Machshav?
Teishin Machshava Malashim Bina. When the word Bina, comprehension, is to understand something even though you didn't say it. Hashem should understand what's in my mind. Bina doesn't go on a word of Div. You don't say that I could comprehend his words. Since bahagigi tivar eish. Dibarti b'lashaini. B'lashaini is dibur, and bahagigi is machshava. Masha shadibur davar ech and shava davar acher. What are you asking?
If he has a hero, eno yotze.
Yeah.
If you do machshava,
Not yotze.
the same thing.
Yeah, not yotze. But he's saying here, do it. And Hashem yirah l'leivav.
So what machshava kemase?
Shav is not gemaisa.
It's a different situation.
Yeah, not yotze. Pidin halacha, you have to be able to. It's not your fault, but you couldn't do it. You were honest. Because ena makim naki. But it doesn't mean that it's like as if you did it. But Hashem should give you schar that you for your machshava. At least you had a machshava. You thought Krias Shema.
From the whole shul, you have 50 people. Ask them to give you translation of Shema. 80% will not know. I assure you. It's a problem.
Yeah. For sure, for Shema and Baruch Shem, they should train themselves, people should train themselves to know what it is and to think when they're saying Shema, Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, and as well Baruch Shem. The rest, you also l'chatchila have to know what, understand it, but if you didn't, you are yoitze b'diavad. You're yoitze, even regular people that do know, they read it, they're not thinking. But Shema and Baruch Shem, a person has to close the eyes. That's why we cover the hand. We're trying to concentrate on these, the beginning, to think about it and think what we're saying. For the rest, we try our best.
Why is Faradim put their hand like this? Shema, like Shaddai, Shin?
I don't know. It's a good question.
You do like this. I don't
right,
know.
I see.
Go up like this.
Right. I don't know. I see many people doing
Shin,
like this.
No? You like this. You're doing Shin.
I don't know. It's a good question. Samach Gimel. Leishe b'shas Kriyishma. I'm just wondering if we read this already. Did we learn these halachas? I don't remember. Okay. Kol Adam Kaiden Kriyishma Kedarkon Bein Oindin Bein Yoishvim Bein Shoichvim Mahalchim Bein Reichvim Agabe Chamor. You're allowed to read Kriyishma. It's not like Shmoneh, you have to stand. Shenema B'lechtecha B'derech. Even when you're going on the road, you could say Kriyishma. In Kein Lama Nemar B'shach B'chav Kumecha. Izman She'adam Shoichvim Izman She'adam Oindin. V'kol in Prakton Naina Shumutul. Upon of tuches bekarka, a person is flat on the face, his face, or upon him l'mayla, or he's totally flat on his back, is a problem. Even if one of the problems of laying in such a position is that it could create someone to have a kishui by the bris. So he says, even if you're a little bit on the side, it's still a problem. Why? There's no problem with kishui in such a position. It's not the way that you're going to say kabel shemayim by being flat on the ground, your back or face forward. It's not that cheres. If someone was very heavy, and he could not turn over to his side, was not well. Oh, so in that case, he has no choice, so he could do it even though he's laying down
In that situation.
it on his back or on his front, just to move a little bit. Some say even furthermore, a bigger chumrah, that even if you are on the side, totally on the side, so there's no issue of kishui, no issue of srara and gaiva. There is a shita which holds that that's still not mutter unless you're underneath your blanket. So Chazal will not mechayiv you to get up to change to put on your clothing. But in other situations, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to lay kishim while you're lying on the side in your bed. The halach is not that way. You're allowed to read kishma when you're laying on your side. The problem only is when you're on your back, on your front, but on the side, it's not a problem. I want to tell you something that we know that the Rebbe had a stroke on Chav Zayin Adar Tafshin and Beis, 1992. He was at the oil then. He was there for many hours, and he fell. He had a stroke there, and when they finally got an ambulance there, and the Rebbe was brought on a stretcher, so the Rebbe did not want to lie flat on his back. But the Hatzalah members were busy, and they didn't realize that this bothered the Rebbe, because someone who was standing on the side realized that the Rebbe was trying to lift up his back, that he shouldn't have to lie, that he was able to see from the side. He was not working. He was someone there on the side. Maybe he came. So he took his coat. It was winter, it was and he took the coat. It was and he bunched it up and he put it there so the Rebbe can lean on the coat. He shouldn't be on that. So you see the Rebbe, even in such a situation, this is the Rebbe was a Rebbe. Someone's a chayla like this. He's a Ines. What could he do? He's not well. But the Rebbe was bothered him that it bothered him that he was like this. We also know the story that people say that the Rebbe came after he had the heart attack and he came to the sukkah. He wanted to eat only in the sukkah, and they didn't want him to make kiddush on wine. They put grape juice there. He said no. He only wanted to make on wine. Grape juice is a kasha pi halacha. It's not a wine is mitzvah mufcher. He didn't want without wine. They had to bring wine for him. But this is something. This is not for the regular person. A regular person, you're not feeling well. Grape juice is fine. It's kasha pi halacha.
93, 94.
No, this story, the heart attack was in 78, 77.
Beginning.
77, yeah. Afterwards, he got better, and he was good for Baruch Hashem for a lot of years.
Yeah, I saw him in the 90s.
You went to some 70?
As Yechidot. That was the last Yechidot, one of the last.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know.
I didn't know that I had Yechidot.
No.
45 minutes.
With the Rebbe?
Me and my wife, he's sitting there, we're sitting inside, and every few minutes, Rabbi Kohen opened the door to let us finish. The Rebbe told him, mach to the tear. Let's give it and close the door. We were, and maybe more than 45 minutes. We wanted to know about my grandfather, Shachot of the Ben Ishai, what I did in the army. So I told him a lot of things my wife says she doesn't know. So he told me in Hebrew, she spoke English most of the time, אתה יכול להגיד לי, he can tell me. And I was chutzpahdik. I said, no, אני לא יכול להגיד לך. I was really contemplating. But then in the end, I kissed the hand, and he said, Yus Faradim has kavod latzadikim. That's what he told me. I gave him a picture with a lot of things. So he looked at it like this, and put it down, and then he started telling me everything. The day before I went to him, my sister called. She was 27. She was in charge, my younger sister, she was in charge of all the teacher of Chutz in Israel. It's a big job. And she had a list who she wanted to get married. She's a pretty girl, smart girl, and she wants somebody finish the army, somebody learning, somebody has a business. So I told her, tomorrow we're going to the rabbi. She said, okay. And she's going out with this guy, and she thinks he's the one, and they're getting engaged 2-3 days. So I wrote his name, I wrote her name, and he read the whole thing, and he down, then he gave me an answer. He didn't say anything about my sister. So I said, Kvod Arab, what about my sister Ruti? So he did like this. Okay. I understood no. He came home, the phone ringing. So I said, Ruti, I know. She said, what do you know? I said, that no engagement. She said, how do you know? I said, the rabbi said, to find out that he was in the army, he was officer, he got wounded, but he cannot have kids. And he did, and she found out that day. So the rabbi saw it already. It's unbelievable.
Sorry.
At the beginning, he asked me what language you want to speak. So we speak like 10, 15 languages. So I said, Rabbi, don't tempt me. He said, what language? It's Arabic. He said, no. He did like he said, no. Piece of cake.
Okay, page Reish Chaf Beis. Siv Beis. Mi sheroitz lahachmir lamed kushiyoyshe v'lekrois umed nika avayin. She'oiver al devei chachamim. Someone will dafka on machmer to stand. You're sitting and you dafka stand up because I want to read Krias Shema standing. He's over al divrei chachamim. Because Beis Hillel said you're not allowed to, and you can do it whether you're sitting or whether you're standing. Beis Shammai said you'd have to get to stand in the morning and lay down at night. What's the problem? I want to be machmer chacham. You're allowed to read standing. There's no mila to it. According to the Chachamim, B'kumecha doesn't mean Amida. Ela B'zman Kima means the time that you're supposed to get up. V'hu machmer lamed has a nidish and ichoyshev devreim olu perushim b'kasav v'chayim misa. Vein daim, I mean, not allowed to give misa for it, but it's an expression that we have in Chazal and Zohar, chayim misa and certain things. Vein daim a klal l'shar chumrei shonu machmirim be'ezet tam b'meshi kilu chachamim. She'af chachamim yimayim mishish mayla b'chumrei ezet tam shaloi ratzu lahachmir. We find sometimes chacham or mekel, you want to be machmer, it's not a problem. Because if you would ask the chachamim, they would say to you, there's a mayla in that chumrah. Over here, standing, there's absolutely no mila to stand. You dafka want to stand, you're showing that you're not choishish to the words of Chachamim. You have to follow Chachamim. That's if you were sitting and you stood up dafka. You were walking, you want to stand still. Velikris kolak in Bashakish Yuchel Chaven Hativ. Rashoy, Tabada Bracha. You're not trying to be machmer stand amida because you want to have kavana.
Kavana is better sitting. I don't understand it.
But here he was a mahalich. So now he's a mahalich, right? But let's say he's mahalich and he's gonna just wants to stand for a second to say Krishna and go. It's okay. Shein can be yoshev. Sheyuchol chav came over. You're sitting. You can have kavana just like you're standing. Maybe better, more. So why you're standing? Because you think bukumecha, you want to be machmer, that bukumecha maybe means you have to stand. That's against the Pirush Chacham in the pasuk. Chemash Noigin Lamer Bayim Kippurim. Barashin Krei Mechus Elavad Mu'umad. Mutter Lami Kishvil Kriyashma. Afal Bishi Yeshiv. Yachol Chavin. V'Yachol Chavin. L'chora, they had a minig in certain places. I don't know which place. The Sfardim have this minig that you stand by Kriyashma. Not only you say B'Koram, they stand up.
No, we say the Quran, but you don't
No standing. I don't know who has minig. There was such a minig.
Some people might stand the whole album.
Right. It seems they had a minig dafke stand by Baruch Shem. That's mutter. Why? You can have kavanah while you're sitting. There you're not doing Kriyashma. You don't do it every day when you say Kriyashma. Only in Kippur you're doing it. So you're doing it for Yom Kippur. That's different. If you want to read, you have to travel, you can't stop. You want to walk and say Kriyashma, you could do it. But the first pasuk, or you could sit down. The Kroisik, the Lachaben Hativ. Mehudinim Hayrecha Vagabe Hema, Tzarech Lahamida, Sheini Yachal Lachaben Kokach, Shutarad Balichasa. Yeshua Gala in Tzarech Lahamida, if you're sitting in a wagon, you don't need to stop the wagon. The wagon, you don't have to control it as much. Sif Hey. Avish is Chetfilas of Lachaben, Bechol Agimel Parashis. Even though you need to have kavanah.
He's driving a car. Why?
So Shema Zalman said that driving a car is problematic, and it's worse than Reicha Vagabe Chamor. I was some on a taina that if you're on a highway which is straight, you don't need it's not difficult. No cars there, and it's a straight highway. So then you could.
Well, if it is self-driving, it will be comparable.
Self-driving, right? Are there self-driving cars in New York? You seen them around? All those big, huge gray cars. That's what it is.
It's a small Tesla where they have the packages that are self-driving.
Yeah, you see that people. You see cars going around.
Has one, yeah.
And you see them going around in it without. Where he types it, he talks to it.
No, he puts an address and it
goes like
the wheel, but it goes.
What do you mean? Why does he have to hold the wheel?
For legal purposes, they want you to hold the wheel.
They're worried.
Yeah.
You could override the system.
They clip on these things, all these fake things that you clip on.
The make believe that you're on it.
You could go.
So, but what's so what does he gain with it? That he doesn't have to concentrate.
Yeah, and you can talk on the phone.
And it recognizes red lights. Unbelievable. Yeah. Perfect driver. Does all the rules exactly. The streets will be safer when everyone does.
That's what they're hoping for. Okay.
Hello. Years ago, I went to have a bus going to Deal. I went one evening from work, and the bus stopped half an hour after we drove on the side, and they were davening mincha. They stopped the bus beside the road.
Yeah.
All the men davening mincha.
Yeah. Okay. You understand Bamida?
I was,
impressed. Yeah. Exactly right. If you could, you could.
You can even sit in your seat technically.
Yeah. If you need to move and you can't stop the bus, you have to go and you sit in your seat. What are you doing on a plane and the long bus rides?
Chill.
But if it's a Yiddish bus and they're willing to stop, I don't have it. They'll stop the bus. So, you have to have kavanah in all three parashas of Kriyas. Parashas of 3 means Shema, V'Hafta, V'Hayim Shemaya. Vayomer is not part of the 3 parashas.
Shema is its own parsha.
Yeah.
Shema
is a parasha of itself. Shema and Baruch. Yeah.
Shema with Baruch Shem, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the Torah, there's no Baruch Shem. There's no Baruch Shem in the Torah. But we put together Baruch Shem.
Whenever I see that term, 3 parshas of Krishna,
we think Vayomer in our mind because that's like what we think of Parsha, but Lamaisa, it's not Vayomer. Vayomer is not from the mitzvah of Krias Shema. Vayomer is, we mentioned,
Between,
Tzitzit?
Shemaya and Vayomer?
Vahoyin Shemaya Vayomer is not part of the mitzvah of Krias Shema. Chazal put it together inside the mitzvah that we mentioned, it's Mitzrayim every day, but it's not part of the mitzvah min HaTorah of Krias Shema.
I'll give you an example. Let's say you put on a great time. You're saying Krias Shema, right? And then somebody comes to you and they want to ask you something or whatever. Can you be mafsik?
So
Say what
So the answer is like this: that
talks about in Brothers days or about being mafsik.
the halacha of being mafsik is by over here, but when you're putting on a Tan's tefillin, you're not saying Krias Shema to be yotze. You're already yotze already. This is a Krias Shema that we say just because it's in the parshas. We're saying the 4 parshas that are written in your tefillin. So there, Vayomer is not written in the tefillin, but we still say it. But it's not written in the tefillin. But there, according to many, you're allowed to be mafsik, like let's say, like a middle pasuk of the Zimmel, Amen. I mean that bechlal, that Shema, it doesn't have the same status as Birchas Krias Shema. It's not that any time you say Shema, you have that same status. It's only when you're doing it for the mitzvah of Krias Shema. Shachos Amayriv, you're doing it for the mitzvah. You have all these unique dinim about dini hefsik, and when you're saying it for Rabbeinu Tam, it's not the same level.
What about when you say regular Krias Shema? And then you're using the tzitzis only by Vayomer and he's by Emes.
Yeah.
That's a minute?
That's a big, yeah.
Yeah. And I see some.
I mean, it's right in the Shulchan Aruch. It says, "M'sach chavivos mitzvah." Some even do it by the Rabbeinu Tam. They do it. They don't kiss us at all.
The ground of the house. Over here, the category is from Shema till Va'ed.
There is a separate category. In between Shema and Va'ed, you're not supposed to be mafsik at all. They're all Asa, right, in that category?
Right.
Okay. So the halacha is much more chomer in Shema and Va'ed. Shema and Va'ed we consider one unit.
What?
You're not supposed to be mafsik in Shema and Va'ed.
But you're saying on the other hand,
Other ones you do have more muckim, like let's say for Kedusha. After Baruch Shem till the end, any davar sheba Kedusha, you could always be mafsik.
But Ed is that's just a second.
Right.
That's Kedusha.
Right.
At the ending of from Shema to Va'ed, you should not be mafsik at all, even for Kedusha or Baruch. Afterwards, you can be mafsik any time for Kedusha, Baruch Hu,
Kaddish.
Amen, not all of Kaddish. Amen Yishmerabah and the Amen of the Amiram Ba'oma V'Mamen. Only the
Right. And to Shema Uberchesah, Berachos from time before.
Kel HaKadosh, Shemei Tefillah, Amen Yishmerabah, the Amiram Ba'oma, Baruch Hu from Kadesh Baruch Yimlech, not Nagdishach. Nagdishach is not part of the essential part of Kedusha because Nagdishach means Nagdishach, let us make Hashem holy. The actual Nusach Kedusha starts from Kadesh Baruch Yimlech. Like we say in Velatzian, we don't say the Nagdishach again. We say Kadesh Baruch Yimlech. Okay. So back to what we're saying in Sif Hey, the top of page Reish of Gimel. Av bishal chatchila tzal chad b'chol hagimel parshiyos. You're supposed to understand what you're saying when you're saying all the 3 parshiyos. Ikra kavana hi b'pasuk rishon. Shehu kabbalas melcha shemayim. V'hu adin l'baruch shein koy machlavad. Shu gam kein kabbalas melcha shemayim. It's also the concept of being, it says melech, Mekabel Hashem as your melech. We avon be'hafta ve'elach lashon tzava. It's a lashon of tzava, a lashon of a commandment. Ve'hafta, you should love, you should do this, you should love. Lefiim kara kishim v'leichim b'livi pasuk kishim b'chbar shalawar tzarech lachzer v'lekreis. And a very important halacha: if you do not have kavana by Shema or by Baruch Shem, you have to go back and read them again. Even even though that there is a machlokes, we mentioned one time in Chazal, there's a machlokes, mitzvah tzrichas kavana or ain't tzrichas kavana. Obviously, you need to have kavana to do a mitzvah. When we say we need tzrichas means are you yoitza if you do not, but do you ever have kavana while you're doing the mitzvah? You weren't thinking what you were doing. Did the mitzvah without thought. The yoitza machlokes. We paskin that min had anything mitzvah min Torah, tzrichas kavana, even with the you have to redo the mitzvah. With the Rabbanon, we're makel that with the you didn't have kavana that you were yoitza. You didn't have kavana. However, I mean it's a machlokes by the Rabbanon in Paiskim whether you need kavana or not, and so l'payil we're makel with the if you didn't by din the Rabbanon. But however, over here we're not talking about the mitzvah, thinking that you're being yoitza the mitzvah of Kiddush. We're thinking about the words, what you're saying. So even those filo ha'imnim, that mitzvahs, that shita, that hell, that even mitzvahs min ha'toira, ain't in tzrichas kavana. We don't pass in that way. But even that shita, says Alter Rebbe, holds that Shema and Baruch Shem, you need to know what you're saying. Even if you're not thinking, I'm now doing a mitzvah now, because you don't need kavana according to that shita, you have a problem that you need to understand what you're saying. Shema means Lashon Havana. Listen and understand what you're saying. You don't understand it, you're not Yotzei.
How come if Loidik you use Yotzei? Sure. Why is there a difference?
So, Diktuk. Kavana, yeah, absolutely.
No.
Diktuk means is like that you said the vase.
Proper.
Yeah, properly.
The system in the school, they have to learn all this halachot.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important for us to remember it. Many times I myself, I don't, I go back. Shekhoizer, Shekoida pasuk Shema Yisrael Pam Shenis, Yikabalach Hashem Tzibur, Sheyenida Kimakab Bezer Shoyes. Don't say it out loud. The first thing you said out loud, and suddenly people hear you in shul saying it out loud again twice. Well, what, you have two? You have two? You say Shema to each one, it's Bezer Shoyes. So you're B'tzibur. If you didn't have kavanah the first time, the second time, you don't have to announce to everyone that you didn't have kavanah the first time.
Saying twice.
He has OCD, they're not sure. So say it again quietly the second time. When you're b'tzibur, if you don't remember till you finish the whole parsha, go back to the beginning. Meaning, you didn't until you finish, let's say, v'sherecha. Oh, I didn't have kavanah by Shema. You can't now say it right here and then continue to V'hoyin Shemaya. I'll just put it in, because then you're not reading in the order. The Krias Shema has to be written in a certain seder, not lamafreya. So he says here, V'im loy nisker shalichim li'at shalach shesim kapash l'las l'roishi efshel l'krois l'makosh nisker shemisa koil lamafreya. L'yatza kameshis bar v'sim samachda. We're going to spend the next siman. Krias Shema has to be read in a seder. Sivav im hayu yashin mitzayin ois imidin ois yishik pasuk rishon bu mamish yukol chavim. When someone's sleeping, you got to wake him up, make it a little uncomfortable for him over there to sleep, till he reads the first pasuk and he's actually thinking and concentrating what he's saying. Afterwards, we don't make sure. And that on, when he reads and he's mumbling and we don't know, it doesn't look like he has kavana, he's not really awake.
Of course he doesn't have kavana.
It's okay, because with the Eved, it's okay. True. Clearly you're supposed to understand everything what you're saying. Just the pasuk rishon, we are mitzarehim. But we do make sure he says the whole thing. The whole mitzvah kriyishma. If there's some other honest reason why this person, his mind is not able to concentrate on the whole kriyishma, we don't bother him, but we do tell him, Shema, have kavanah, Shema, okay, you said the first pasuk, we'll let you go.
But it said,
yeah, so the first one, if you could do it, you could do it. If you can't, you can't.
Yeah, but I don't understand. Somebody's sleeping, go wake him up, says Shema. He doesn't have kabbalah. He's middle of sleeping. He's middle of.
You have to wake him up to who mamish.
He has to say They have to listen to him every word he's saying.
I'm not saying this is always good to do to your teenage children. You know, you have to be careful with the bachrim. They might get very upset. You know, ruin your relationship. You have to be careful. You have to be a chacham. Someone's going to be upset. It doesn't say that you should do it. Someone's going to be upset. It doesn't say you have to be someone sakana to make the have a Krias Shema. You might pour his negavas on you. So we're saying if you know that he's someone who wants to get up, somebody who wants to get up, so then help him do the mitzvah. He's just very tired. He's zonked out. Just there, better listen. Shema, just say Shema. And okay, good. That's it. We're trying to someone who wants to do it. Someone's not. We have to wait for him until he's ready to do the mitzvah on their own. So Zayin Akoyda Kishma Lo Yirmiz Lachaveiroi Be'enov. Can't point out things. Move there, do that, clean this with your fingers, with your eyes. Afilu tzarich mitzvah. From Asa kain olav akasa nemer v'loi oisi karasa Yaakov.
You know who has to learn this?
Shenire kekoyle derech arai. Atoyram v'dibarta bom. Dosh chachamim asay oisam kvar. You should put yourself into it and say it properly, and not be doing other things while you're doing the mitzvah.
The Meshulachim come to the shul. I mean, there's Shmona Esrei, tzedakah. You don't say Shmona Esrei Shema. They have to learn this.
Might not be Jewish then. You don't know what's going
They're
on.
Jewish. I mean, I don't know, man.
There's some proper street that no one can come.
But they're still coming.
They can't.
Today in the morning, I was in
After
Shema.
Shema.
Somebody comes tzedakah.
After what? Till after Tachim. Very cancel.
Yeah.
They say an old joke.
They have a sign there, but nobody.
They say it's a joke. Lama tiknu chazaras hashatz. Chazar hashatz. Kedei litin staka.
Okay.
Kedei laniach benotam. And that's another thing. Yeah, maybe that was it. Ahmed var amorim mepashir shoyna sheyesh betchilasa kabbalah shmaim mitzvifei lases kva. We can be ehrlich mutter letzorich mitzvah ksas kein meite shehoya sheshana tam b'fnei rabbi b'mishnah zchariah ben kaputel. Rabbi kara pashisha kiyishma v'hoyle b'yadei kris kaputel. There's a Gemara which says that the Talmud was saying the Mishnah. He was reading in front of his Rebbe the Mishnah Zchariah ben Kaputel. He was saying with a pay, and his Rebbe was in the middle of reading the second parsha Kiyishma, and he motioned to him, "It's not with a pay, it's Kaputel." He somehow got him to reread the Mishnah properly. So how could he have done that? Alter Rebbe explains that this idea that we're saying that you're not allowed to make a remez, which really means only in Parsha Rishayna. Now, yeah. Which means, by the way, over here, yeah. The Parsha, by the way, over here means, I think over here Parsha means Tol B'Sherecha, first of Sherecha. If I'm not mistaken. Even though we use the word Gimel Parshias to refer Ma, V'Hafta, and the Hoya, over here, I think over here, and in certain places, when we say the word, over here we mechalak Parsha Rishayna, Parsha Shniya, it doesn't mean Pasuk Rishon. It means Tol B'Sherecha. And I have to look this up, and I'm pretty sure. I don't think so. You know what? I'm gonna. No, look what he says. Medun Parsha Rishayna. Look at the lashon. Pnei sheyesh bitchi lasot v'lashamayim. The entire Parsha Rishayna has a new chashivas itself because in the beginning of it, and we're not talking about if it should say v'yesh ba.
Right.
The v'yesh bitchi lasa. That's a little confusing because let's say you do see that, let's say in Vav in the beginning he says he doesn't use the word pasha. I think when he refers to them all as a collective group, that even the first one is called a parsha in Gimel Parshias. However, when we talk about them each individually, we don't call Shema parsha for itself. As a cooktais, so it's important to Keep that in mind. Let's just finish up the siman. Are we gonna have a million parrots?
It's 8. Two
It's
more.
gonna be not 7, no? Oh, not 8. Yeah. What happened to Rabbi
Mhm.
Drizin or anyone else?
You can talk about what Parshas are at filling terminology used then.
I hear you.
See then.
See then, yeah, yeah.
If I read Shema in Meshurach Khan, I can tell him like this after Shema.
After Visharecha.
No, but I can.
After Visharecha. After the first Shema Baruch Shem V'Hapsta Tul Visharecha, then middle of Vahaya you can motion to.
Yeah, but if you come in the beginning, it's bothering. I cannot come on.
No, if you can't have kavana, it's something different. If it's the issue of not having kavana, you
I have to
could.
answer him. I can
Even in the middle of Shemon Esrei, you're allowed to motion to the child to be quiet.
to the child.
Yeah, and need come to be to pick up. You're allowed to pick yourself on Shemon Esrei and move to another place if you can have kavana. A father can pick up his child. The chodesh should pick if his middle Shemon Esrei, his child's making a lot of noise. Should pick it up. And people has on their cell phone and they'll leave it ringing the entire Shemon Esrei because they can't touch the. No, that's cup and vant. They say head into the wall. Turn it off. You first have to turn it off before and put on vibrator off. But if it's on and you're not able to, no one's able to concentrate, you have to turn it off. So we're talking about here that you're making the disturbance, you're motioning, but someone else is disturbing you. Yeah, you have to tell them to stop. Yeah, whatever you do to get the concentration.
They don't understand.
They understand, but they know what they want.
Yeah, but
They want you to give them something that will get them
I'm
away.
not stopping now and giving. They come after again forever.
The dollar on the table. And they come.
Yeah, they come stopping. We're going to take the down.
You have to split the dollar into dimes, quarters.
It says more than what?
You know, one time in Bet Torah, now they cannot come to the middle of davening. That's what happened. People used to come. A guy come. I always have few singles. Come with stack of 5. So I gave him a single. He said, "I take only 5." I took him the dollar. I didn't give him. Okay,
He's a rich ani.
something like this. Only 5. He's showing you. I take only 5. I have a few dollars. I give.
Pour it up. It's like in front of
It's
a
a chutzpah,
grocery
you know?
store. It's like Goldberg. See I give him a dollar. A dollar? It's some tears that you throw it on the floor.
It has a suggis. It has a suggis.
It's a chutzpah.
Used to there's a lady in my life when
He's sick. This
give her
guy's
a
sick.
quarter. Guy years ago, she threw it on me. Literally.
Shit. Respectable ani. Respectable ani. You have to, that $5. Respectable.
So he gave her a point to go back.
The story with the Alter Rebbe, right? With the penny. The story with the Alter Rebbe that there was certain they needed for pidyon shabuyim, and no one wanted to go to a certain miser. He said he just gives you this, has the same kopek coin he gives to everyone, and everyone no one wants to take it, So the Alter Rebbe said he said he's going to go. He went with one of his kavedim. I don't remember who it was. Maybe Lalitza Gavarditch, I don't remember. And they went to him, and Alter Rebbe took it. He said, "Thank you." And he went and he kept on going, and then the guy called him back, gave him another kopek. And it went on until, and Alter Rebbe kept on thanking him and smiling until finally he gave him everything he needed.
Nobody thanked him, probably. That's why.
Sometimes you need to have reverse psychology, with the.
Wait, so he went and found the lines back and forth, or
And eventually he.
Yeah, a big one after
The first person that took it, that didn't.
He said, "Thank you, smiley face." Yeah.
Yes. Haya oisa b'malacha beratza likis kishma yizbat malachte at shika kishma hasher ishoyna kedei shli yakoy derech alef yili yochel chavim. You're in the middle of working, and you want to say kishma, you have to stop until you read Parashat Yishoyna. Again, Parashat Yishoyna means the toil of Yisharecha, because otherwise you consider a koyde kederech ara if you're working b'shas. Ha'omna mechem balabatim shoy oisa malacha b'reish ilan. Your workers are on top of trees. They're pulling down the fruits off the trees. They're on top of the construction site. Koyin Krias b'mkoimon ve'ein tzarich leidet. They do have to stop working. They can do it on top of the tree. They have to stop working till Ubisharecha. Remember, Kavana is ma'akiv for Shema Baruch Shem, but Malacha and reading that you have to read B'derech Keva, not B'derech Arei. The analogy Merames do Malacha. That's until Ubisharecha. The whole Parashat Shena, we give it a bigger chashivas because it's Chilas a Parasha has Shema, which is Kabbalah Shemayim. The whole first Parasha receives in itself a different level of chashivas than the Hayim Shema and the rest. The Hayim Shema you could motion to the tzedakah collector to wait to come later, or maybe you can give him something also. A katov, one more halacha, yud a katov misham masoy al kseifoy. Someone whose job is to be a katov, to carry things on his shoulders. He schleps things, even though he's carrying a load on his back. It's not an issue. He's on your back and you can have kavanah. While you're putting it on and taking it off, then you're busy. Once it's on you, you go, and then you can have kavanah, you can be Krias Shema.
The guy in Rosh Hashanah has to come down. He doesn't go left or
He
back.
doesn't have to come down. He doesn't have to come down. It's not tefillah, but Krias does not have to come down. Koyin Krias b'koimon. Ve'ein tzarich leidet. You have to stop doing what they're doing on top of the tree. They're picking the fruits of the thing. Stop, read till Bisharecha. The rest you can continue reading while you're working.
He's not going to.
You can say the Hayim Shemaya. That he has to allow you. The Hayim Shemaya, you can continue working and picking. You can give the guy tzedakah during the Hayim Shemaya. He should wait for you till the Hayim Shemaya for giving tzedakah or to meramis him to come later, whatever you want to signal him to do.
I did like this.
During the Parsha Shniya. Parsha Shoni, you shouldn't say anything to him. Unless there's an issue, by the way, there's different dinim of Shalom Aleichem, Aleichem HaShalom. We have this, someone comes to greet you. Someone who, let's say someone greeted you. It's not just collect tzedakah. If it comes to say, oh, Shalom Aleichem, he doesn't realize that he's going to be like offended. So you could say,
You like this.
Meishiv and Shalom, you could answer him back. You could nod to Meishiv Aleichem HaShalom.
Off your head.
Remember the halacha there, there's differences. We're going to learn about it. Yeah, and Shoyel Pnei Yira. Actually, I think the din is Meishiv HaKavod. It depends if you're Emsa and in Bein Afrakim. To remind myself to Prati Dinim, but you are allowed in certain cases to respond or to ask someone if you're concerned that there's going to be an issue in Mula Krias Shema.
About you mentioning about coming down, that's for tefillah, for Shemon Esrei you have to come.
Krias Shema, you don't need
Shemon
to.
Esrei you have to come down on the top of it.
I think so.
And Yaakov Avinu, I always wondered, thus, where was he holding last week first?
I remember the discussion. Why is Yaakov saying Krias? What about Yosef? What happened to Yosef?
He wasn't.
Where
was
was he
Krias?
holding exactly?
The first girl show.
What does he say?
Yosef wasn't Yosef a mitzvah by going to see his father. So he down Shachar. His father was coming to visit him. It was Yosef the mitzvah. So therefore he couldn't do Krishna until he got there, until he saw his son.
Because all along he was a
He
mitzvah.
was walking to do a mitzvah.
What was the mitzvah?
To go see his son. The Kabbalah Melech, I don't know the whole.
But Yosef was the melech. It's not mechuyev.
Well, him was a short distance. Could have been Shachar earlier. Not coming in that day.
So you're gonna, I think that's the other day from your America or someone else.
The Velbala says this in Alatayra. You have to look. I have it saved from the house.
So his son would say, Shema, Sharda, Video.
Shemaim?
Very the fascists. Thank everyone for joining.
Maybe one.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shkoyach.
Yeah, Shekayach Yeichan.
You know that a lot of Rabbanim tonight is Nittel. But I help.
Right.
Yeah,
Right, and Gary, in many communities, they observe Nittel January 7th, tonight.
I know tonight. That's the
The
night.
night is early January 7th.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
did the
you're right. Because in
24th.
Europe, they go by the Russian Orthodox Church celebrates the birth on the Mila, I mean the bris, on January 7th.
Okay. 6th. Today's the 6th. No,
Which Bench is asking, which night are you makbid on?
I did the 24th.
He thought maybe you were machmer to both.
Nah, both. I don't have to. Nah.
He was joking. Some people they're machmer a whole year.
Oh, that's
Because it's a suffix which night.
A suffix, it's a suffix. Sveka deraisa.
You don't really know which it's either night.
I see a lot of them come to 770 or to the oil on Mitternacht. They take the yeshivas, come to the oil like the Chassidish yeshivas.
Oh yeah. I think we needed them.
Come to the Rebbe's library. I seen a group from Skver actually, from Skver town. I saw a cousin, my mother-in-law's cousin. I said, "What are you doing over here?" I haven't seen the guy. He says, "Well, January 7th, I brought the Bachram to see the library."
Oh, see the library, not learning.
Yeah, I'll learn. They come to the library to. You can go to the museum and a library. What museum? They're not going to take them to the Brooklyn Museum. They'll take them to the. Yeah, you're right. January 7th, Taki.
They said tonight. Tonight's the 6th.
You're right. What's an early 7? That's our word. Same thing with December 24th. Sorry. It has to do with the bris. The church is different in Russia and over here. The over here goes by the Roman, the Catholic, which they go with January 1st as being the day. The Shanking they hold it's January 7th. That has to do with the calendar. I don't know the cheshbon. Something cheshbon. Yeah, every once in a while they're off. Every 100. So what's the real cheshbon? Which one's the real? 7th or the
real one? There's Rabbi Lawrence Kelly. He has it's like a